Namaskar, a warm welcome to the World News, an Indian perspective on All India Radio. This is Aditi Lumba bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring to you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. The headlines. First cross-border energy pipeline between India and Bangladesh to be inaugurated by Prime Ministers Narendra Modi and Sheikh Hasina on Saturday. India's financial sector remains stable despite crisis in U.S. banking system, says RBI Governor. Meeting of heads of Shanghai Cooperation Organization tourism administrations under chairmanship of India held in Varanasi. Ram Sahai Prasad Yadav elected as Vice President of Nepal. In badminton, Indian women's doubles pair of Teresa Jolly and Gayatri Gopichand enter semi-finals of All England Open in Birmingham. And in cricket, India beat Australia by 5 wickets in first ODI at Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Bangladesh counterpart Sheikh Hasina will inaugurate the India-Bangladesh Friendship Pipeline via video conferencing on Saturday. More from our Dhaka correspondent.
The 130-kilometer-long India-Bangladesh Friendship Pipeline is the first cross-border energy pipeline between India and Bangladesh. The pipeline will carry high-speed diesel from Siliguri-based marketing terminal of the Numaligarh refinery to Bangladesh's Parvatipur. It has been built at an estimated cost of rupees 377 crore. Government of India had provided rupees 285 crore as grant assistance for building the Bangladesh portion of the pipeline. The pipeline has a capacity to transport 1 million metric ton per annum of high-speed diesel. It will supply high-speed diesel initially to 7 districts in northern Bangladesh. The operation of India-Bangladesh Friendship Pipeline will put in place a sustainable, reliable, cost-effective and environment-friendly mode of transporting HSD from India to Bangladesh. It will further enhance cooperation in energy security between the two countries. Rajesh Jha for World News, All India Radio, Dhaka.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the Global Millet Shri Anna Conference in New Delhi on Saturday at 11 a.m. The Prime Minister will also address the gathering on the occasion. The two-day conference will have sessions on a wide range of issues related to millets, including promotion and awareness of millets among producers, consumers and other stakeholders, millets value chain development, health and market linkages. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that PM Mitra mega textile parks will be set up in Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. In a tweet, the Prime Minister said PM Mitra mega textile parks will boost the textile sector in line with the 5F vision, which is farm to fibre, to factory, to fashion, to foreign. He added that these textile parks will provide state-of-the-art infrastructure for the textile sector, attract investment and create lakhs of jobs. He pointed out that it will be a great example of Make in India and Make for the World. President Draupadi Murmu spoke to President of Nepal Ramchandra Paudel over telephone on Friday evening. The President, who is presently on tour in Kerala, called up President Paudel and congratulated him on assuming the office of the President of Nepal. Both presidents noted the unique and multifaceted relations between India and Nepal. They also discussed ways to further advance bilateral cooperation and strengthen the strong bonds of friendship between the people of the two countries. President Draupadi Murmu expressed confidence that under the guidance of President Paudel, India-Nepal bilateral relations would reach even greater heights. In Nepal, Janata Samajwadi Party leader Ram Sahai Prasad Yadav has been elected as the country's vice president. In Friday's voting, Mr. Yadav defeated Ashtalakshmi Shakya of CPN-UML and Mamta Jha of Janmat Party. He received support from the Nepali Congress, CPN Maoist Centre and the CPN Unified Socialists, including the ruling alliance. A total of 311 federal lawmakers and 518 provincial assembly members took part in the poll. The polling centre for the election was set up at the new Baneshwar-based Federal Parliament building in Kathmandu. The term of the Vice President is 5 years from the date on which he or she is elected. Ram Sahai Prasad Yadav was the former Minister for Forest and Environment and a member of the first Federal Parliament of Nepal. In the 2017 Nepalese general election, he was elected from the Bara 2 constituency. Amid the ongoing crisis in the U.S. banking system after the fall of Silicon Valley Bank, RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das has assured that India's financial sector remains stable. Delivering the annual KP Hormus lecture at Kochi on Friday, Mr. Das said that the crisis, however, reinforces the importance of the robust regulations and supervision. Mr. Das said it is important for banks to ensure prudent asset liability management, robust risk management, and sustainable growth in liabilities and assets. He added that the ongoing crisis also clearly shows the risk of private cryptocurrencies to the financial system. Assuring that RBI has taken all necessary steps for risk management and stress tests, the governor asked banks to avoid any excessive build-up of asset liability mismatch as they are detrimental to financial stability.
The Reserve Bank has taken necessary steps in all these areas. For example, I mentioned about the point of building capital buffers for any unanticipated future stress. We kept on highlighting and stressing on the need to build up adequate capital. So we impressed upon the banks, and I am happy to say that in fact almost all banks took the message and built up adequate additional capital. Most of our banks, in fact I would say almost all banks, built up additional capital, they mobilized additional capital. And again, I think together between the Reserve Bank as the regulator and supervisor and the banks and the NBFCs and other entities in the financial sector, together we have ensured that financial sector in India overall remains resilient.
The RBI governor said that the worst of inflation is behind us and that the Indian rupee has exhibited least volatility among its peers. SVB Financial Group said that it has filed for a court-supervised reorganization for bankruptcy protection under the United States Bankruptcy Code to seek buyers for its assets. The move comes days after SVB Financial Group's former unit Silicon Valley Bank was taken over by U.S. regulators. The plan to seek bankruptcy protection comes after the company said on March 13 that it was planning to explore strategic alternatives for its businesses, including the holding company, SVB Capital, and SVB Securities. California banking regulators have closed SVB and appointed the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation as receiver for disposition of its assets. The collapse of SVB has crippled bank stocks and triggered concerns of a contagion throughout global markets. The meeting of heads of Shanghai Cooperation Organization (SCO) tourism administrations under the chairmanship of India was held in Varanasi on Friday. The meeting was chaired by Union Minister for Tourism and Culture, G. Kishan Reddy. Kashi has been declared as the first tourism and cultural capital of SCO. This recognition will bring the city to a greater prominence in the global tourist map. The SCO tourism ministers finalized and approved the joint action plan prepared for implementing the agreement between the governments of the SCO member states on the development of cooperation in tourism. As per the agreed joint action plan, the member countries will undertake various activities such as SCO Tourism Exhibition, SCO Food Festival, webinar and seminar on tourism, conference and expert session on promotion and development of tourism in the region. The meeting also adopted the action plan for the year of tourism development in the SCO space in 2023. This document identified a list of activities and events aimed to promote and showcase tourism products of SCO member states. A joint statement by the head of the tourism administrations of the SCO member countries was also issued post the meeting. The next meeting of the SCO heads of tourism administrations will be held in Kazakhstan in 2024. In today's Hotspot section, we bring you a news commentary on India's commitment for self-reliance in energy.
India is one of the fastest growing economies with rising energy needs in the world. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has unleashed the most comprehensive agenda for sustainable energy transition by marching ahead in this Amrit Kal with the mantra Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, Sabka Prayas for becoming energy independent by 2047. The Prime Minister reiterated India's commitment to self-reliance in the energy sector when sharing a tweet by Union Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Hardeep Singh Puri, on the 15th of March 2023. The minister had tweeted about India becoming the world's third largest energy consumer, the third largest consumer of oil, the third largest LPG consumer, the fourth largest liquefied natural gas importer, the fourth largest refiner, and the fourth largest automobile market in the world. The Prime Minister also shared an article by the minister titled Powering Amrit Kal at the inauguration of the first significant energy event of India's G20 presidency at the India Energy Week 2023 in Bengaluru. Prime Minister Modi underlined the major role of the energy sector in setting the direction of the future of the 21st century world. The Prime Minister said, India is one of the strongest voices in the world for energy transition and for developing new resources of energy. He added, there are unprecedented possibilities emerging in India that is moving with the resolution of a Vikas Bharat.
IMF ने 2023 के लिए ग्रोथ प्रोजेक्शन रिलीज की है। इसमें कहा गया है कि भारत फास्टेस्ट ग्रोइंग मेजर इकोनॉमी रहने वाला है। महामारी और युद्ध के प्रभाव के बावजूद 2022 में भारत एक ग्लोबल ब्राइट स्पॉट रहा है।
Minister Hardeep Singh Puri noted that the India Energy Week 2023 was a watershed in the global energy landscape, and it will devise solutions to solve the global energy quadrilemma of energy access, affordability and availability with security at its pivot, and devise solutions for the future global energy transition. This year's theme was Growth, Collaboration, Transition, as it underscores the need to collaborate and grow together. He added the country has carved out an energy agenda which is inclusive, market-based and climate-sensitive.
The India Energy Week was born out of the Honorable Prime Minister's long-standing vision for India's role in the global energy transition while ensuring India's energy security, affordability and accessibility for her citizens. It captures India's dreams and aspirations of an Amrit Kal, whilst also underlining her role in the 21st century global economy as a Vishwaguru following the ideals of Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam.
Over the years, India has expanded its network of crude oil suppliers from 27 to 39 nations. India has also strengthened ties with countries like the US and Russia to ensure a reliable supply of crude oil. This strategic market card is the world's third largest importer, not only ensured affordable energy for Indian consumers, but also had a calming effect on global petroleum markets. India is a global exporter of petroleum products and its refining capacity is the fourth largest in the world. India is working on both traditional fuel exploration as well as energy transition. It is an attractive energy and power destination. The geographic area under exploration has been increased from 8% to 15%. It has reduced the prohibited no-go areas in the exclusive economic zone EEZ by 99%, thus releasing nearly 1 million square kilometers for exploration. India is also accelerating its efforts to move towards a gas-based economy by increasing the share of gas from the current 6.3% to 15% by 2030. More than 9.5 crore families have clean cooking fuel, a phenomenal increase in the last 9 years. PNG connections have increased from 22.28 lakh in 2014 to over 1 crore in 2023. The number of CNG stations has gone up from 938 in 2014 to 4,900 in 2023. Since 2014, India has increased the length of its gas pipeline network from 14,700 kilometers to 22,000 kilometers in 2023. The Union Budget 2023 has reflected green growth as one of the highlights, with allocation of 35,000 crore rupees for priority capital investments towards energy transition transition and net zero objectives and energy security, and made significant policy changes for accelerating outcomes. India remains focused on energy efficiencies, laying impetus on fuels of the future, including biofuels and hydrogen, and increasing the use of renewable energies. A giant stride in India's biofuel revolution has been the launching of E20 20% ethanol blended gasoline, which will be rolled out in 15 cities across the country in the next 2 years. The National Green Hydrogen Mission has been launched with an outlay of 19,744 crore rupees to develop the country's green hydrogen ecosystem. The Unbottled initiative of Indian Oil that was launched by Prime Minister Modi at the IEW 2023 is the largest in the world to reuse and recycle 100 million PET bottles every year. It resonates with the global initiative Lifestyle for the Environment, LIFE, launched by Prime Minister Modi at COP26 in Glasgow. India has pledged to become net zero in emissions by 2070 and cutting down emissions by 1 billion tons by the end of 2030. As India implements Amrit Kal to become a $26 trillion economy by 2047, the targeted goal is to ensure security and achieve energy independence.
Welcome back. The Startup 20 Sikkim Sabha will begin in Gangtok on Saturday. The meeting will invite delegates from G20 member and invitee countries, representatives from multilateral organizations and stakeholders from the Indian startup ecosystem. The Sikkim Sabha will forward the agenda finalized during the inception meeting held in Hyderabad on 28 and 29 January 2023. Around 200 participants are expected to attend the two-day event, which will offer a platform for young startup leaders to exchange ideas. Minister of State for Commerce and Industry, Som Prakash, has reached Sikkim to attend the event. In Uttarakhand, International Ayurveda Conclave on the theme Veterinary and Ayurveda was inaugurated at Rishikul campus of Ayurvedic University at Haridwar on Friday. The event will conclude on March 19th. Addressing the seminar, Union Minister of State for Animal Husbandry, Dairying and Fisheries Sanjeev Balyan said Ayurveda is being used for treatment of animals from times immemorial. He said that government has taken initiatives to validate use of Ayurveda in the treatment of animals. He said that attempt will be made to include the subject in the syllabus of various universities. This is All India Radio giving you the world news. Government of India has approved for listing of the Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency, IREDA, on the stock exchanges. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, CCEA, decided to approve an initial public offer, IPO, by part sale of government stake in the CPSE to raise funds through issue of fresh equity shares. Department of Investment and Public Asset Management will drive the listing process. The IPO will help in unlocking the value of government investment on one hand and provide an opportunity to the public to acquire stake in the national asset and draw benefits therefrom. Besides, it will help IREDA in raising a part of its capital requirement for meeting growth plans without depending on the public exchequer. The step will improve governance through greater market discipline and transparency arising from listing requirements and disclosures. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, CCEA, granted exemption to NTPC Limited from the extant guidelines of delegation of power to Maharatna CPSEs for making investment in NTPC Green Energy Limited, NGEL, a subsidiary company of NTPC Limited. The exemption given to NTPC will aid in improving India's global image as a green economy. It will also decrease India's dependency on conventional sources of energy by diversifying India's energy generation and will also decrease the country's coal import bills. Further, it will also help in ensuring 24/7 power supply to each and every corner of the country. The renewable energy project will also generate direct and indirect employment opportunities to the local people at construction stage as well as during operations and maintenance stage. Union Home Ministry has announced a 10% reservation for former Agniveers in the Central Industrial Security Force CISF. Former Agniveers would get relaxation in the upper age limit and will also be exempted from physical efficiency tests. This announcement comes a few days after the ministry had announced a similar 10% reservation for former Agniveers in the Border Security Force BSF. As per the notification, the upper age limit for candidates for the first batch of Agniveers shall be relaxed by up to 5 years, whereas the other batches shall get age relaxation by up to 3 years. The central government launched the Agnipath scheme for recruitment in the armed forces. The scheme aims to induct youth between 17.5 years of age and 21 years of age on a 4-year short-term contractual basis. It has been designed to ensure a youthful profile of the armed forces. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi's remarks on Indian democracy and the Adani Group issue continue to rock the proceedings of both the Houses of Parliament for the 5th consecutive day today. Both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha were adjourned till Monday following protests by the opposition and Treasury benches. Chinese President Xi Jinping will visit Russia from 20th to 22nd of March at the invitation of his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin. This will be Xi's first visit to Moscow since the beginning of the Russia-Ukraine war. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin said at a daily briefing in Beijing on Friday that Xi will have an in-depth exchange of views with President Putin on bilateral relations and major international and regional issues of common concern. The deliberations would aim at promoting strategic cooperation and inject new impetus into the development of bilateral relations. The European lawmakers called on the UN Human Rights Council to conduct an independent investigation into a wave of poisonings that have hit schoolgirls in Iran. In a resolution, the European Parliament urged the EU member states to facilitate the issues of visas, asylum and emergency grants to those who need to leave Iran, particularly women and girls. According to state media and officials in Iran, around 13,000 pupils, mostly girls, have fallen ill after suspected poisonings. Some activists have blamed religious groups opposed to girls' education for these poisonings. In France, police clashed with protesters on Thursday after President Emmanuel Macron decided to force through his controversial pension reform without calling a vote in France's lower house of parliament. Thousands of people protested the move on the streets of Paris and other French cities. In Paris, police used tear gas and water cannon to clear protesters who demonstrated outside of Parliament. Local media reported that at least 120 people were detained. President Emmanuel Macron used a constitutional power, enabling the government to bypass lawmakers. The decision was made just a few minutes before the vote was scheduled. The U.S. State Department approved the sale of 220 cruise missiles to Australia in a deal valued at $895 million. The proposed sale that still requires sign-off from Congress includes Tomahawk missiles and technical support. According to media reports, the missiles will be used by Virginia-class submarines that Australia will acquire from the United States under the AUKUS Defence Pact. New Zealand will ban TikTok on devices with access to the parliamentary network because of cybersecurity concerns. New Zealand's Parliamentary Service Chief Executive Rafael Gonzalez Montero informed that TikTok will be banned on all services by the end of this month. Britain, United States, Canada, Belgium and the European Commission have already banned the app from the official devices. The Sri Lankan government has said it will consider restarting the $2.2 billion light rail transit project stretching from Colombo Fort to Malabay. The Japan International Cooperation Agency (JICA) funded project was abruptly terminated by the previous regime in 2020. Urban Development and Housing Minister Prasanna Ranatunga said the government is ready to renew the project contract with JICA. He said the loan has favourable conditions, including low interest rates and a grace period of 12 years. The key domestic share markets today witnessed gains of more than 0.5%. The BSE Sensex and the NSE Nifty, both indices gained amid positive global cues. The rupee also appreciates around 19 paise, a report from the business desk.
The Sensex at the Bombay Stock Exchange climbed 355 points or 0.62% to close at 57,990. Nifty at the National Stock Exchange advanced 114 points or 0.67% to end at around 17,100. Asian stock closed higher. Hong Kong's Hang Seng surged 1.6%, Japan's Nikkei 225 climbed 1.2%, and Singapore's Straits Times gained 0.9%. China's Shanghai Composite and South Korea's Kospi both rose 0.7% each. The People Bank of China reduced the reserved requirement ratio for almost all banks by 0.25% effective from March 27. European markets were down in intraday trade. Oil prices fall to its weakest since last December. In intraday trade, Brent crude was trading at around $74.85 per barrel. Back home, gold price at Multi-Commodity Exchange for April contracts was trading at around 58,370 rupees per 10 grams. Silver was trading at around 67,250 rupees per kilogram for May contracts. In the forex market, the rupee appreciated around 19 paise to close at 82 rupees and 55 paise against the US dollar. This is Lalema Aneja Dang for World News All India Radio.
In badminton, Indian women's doubles pair of Teresa Jolly and Gayatri Gopichand advanced to the semi-finals of All England Open Championships in Birmingham. The Indian team defeated their Chinese opponents Li Wenmei and Liu Xuanxuan with a final score tally of 21-14, 18-21, 21-12. In men's cricket, India defeated Australia by 5 wickets in the first ODI of the 3-match series at Mumbai's Wankhede Stadium. With the help of KL Rahul's 75 runs, the hosts achieved the target in 39.5 overs. Earlier, India won the toss and put Australia to bat first. Australia were all out on 188 runs in 35.4 overs. Michelle Marsh scored 81 runs for the visitors. Mohammad Shami and Mohammad Siraj scalped 3 wickets each for the Indian side. Now let us take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. The Guardian writes French anger spreads after Macron forces pension age rise. The Washington Post reports China's Xi will meet Putin in Moscow on Monday in the first visit since war began. The Globe and Mail reports Slovakia approves a plan to give Ukraine a fleet of 13 Soviet-era MiG-29 fighter jets. Le Monde writes, despite the banking crisis, the European Central Bank raises interest rates. The Financial Times writes, European bank stock rally fades as Credit Suisse shares fall. The New York Times writes, search intensifies for radioactive canister missing for weeks in Thailand. South China Morning Post says, China-Cambodia to hold joint military drill as Beijing restarts exchanges. A quick look at the headlines once again. First cross-border energy pipeline between India and Bangladesh to be inaugurated by Prime Ministers Narendra Modi and Sheikh Hasina on Saturday. India's financial sector remains stable despite crisis in US banking system, says RBI Governor. Meeting of heads of Shanghai Cooperation Organization Tourism Administrations under chairmanship of India held in Varanasi. Ram Sahai Prasad Yadav elected as Vice President of Nepal. In badminton, Indian women's doubles pair of Teresa Jolly and Gayatri Gopichand enter semi-finals of All England Open in Birmingham. And in cricket, India beat Australia by 5 wickets in first ODI at Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. And now, before we end, let us listen to Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan, Vaishnava Jan, by artists from Ireland.
Vaishnava Jana Tog, Tene Kahiye Je, Pira Parayi Jane Re, Paraduke, Upakare Kare Toye, Mahanabhimanane Re, Vaishnava Jana Tog, Tene Kahiye Je, Pira Parayi Jane Re, Sakaloke Man Sahune Vande Nindana kare.
And with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of the World News.